Heng City, the place where our story begins, the commercial capital of the empire. This city can be compared to a heart that pumps blood. Trade caravans leaving the city saturated the most remote corners of the empire with goods and news. But such an important organ needs good protection, and this city had good protection. The city itself was located on two nearby mountains connected by a metal bridge. In the event that one part of the city was captured by the enemy, the inhabitants and nobles could cross to the other part of the city along this bridge and collapse it, thus securing themselves from possible pursuit. Also, the whole city was surrounded by high and strong walls, strong gates. And there were also a lot of guards in the city. Some of them guarded the trade guild. Some guarded the local Lord Yoshinaga. Although Heng City was under the protection of the local Lord Yoshinaga, many of its inhabitants were still worried lately. The reason for their anxiety was the return of a skeleton to the city. He appeared in the city a few days ago, carrying a future slave in his arms. Slavery flourished in the city. Both the sale and use of slaves were considered honorable occupations. However, almost no one wanted to deal with this skeleton, and there were very good reasons for that. 20 years ago, a very famous and respected merchant lived in Heng. He traveled almost the entire continent. Once, returning to the city, the merchant brought a skeleton with him. He replenished his supplies and went to Heft with his new companion. No one saw him again. The skeleton, however, reached the city with the merchant's belongings. Rumors spread that the skeleton had sold the merchant into slavery at a quarry. He took the merchant's belongings for himself, and came to Heft as if nothing had happened. Now, this same skeleton roams the desert, capturing people to sell them. The guards tried to investigate the matter. After all, the merchant was an important person in the city, but according to the rumors that spread throughout the city, the skeleton had bought off all the accusations with a huge amount of money. Such is the story that is circulating in the city. The very object of these stories has been sitting in a city bar for several days. He doesn't talk to anyone except the owner of the establishment. And even the conversation with the bar owner was purely business. The skeleton bought several repair kits, first aid kits, and food. Yes, food. The skeleton returned to the city not only with a slave but also with a pack bull. Yes, with a pack bull. Have you ever seen a skeleton traveling with a pack bull? No one has ever seen this. There were not even any rumors about it. But the residents of Heng City witnessed this phenomenon. This bull, although it attracted a lot of attention from the locals, meekly waited for its iron master on the street. The skeleton periodically left the bar, fed and watered the animal. The robot himself did not talk to anyone and did not do anything. He just sat. This went on for about a week. Then, to the great relief of the bar patrons, he settled up with the owner of the drinking establishment, and said that he was leaving the city. On the way to the city gates, the robot went into a weapons shop. He bought several sets of tools and a few clubs. After that, he left the city. The guards from the city walls saw how the skeleton headed towards the great desert, where he was swallowed up by a sandstorm. You know that the desert kills, right? And the great desert is a far more cruel and merciless place. Not every living creature could survive in these parts. The scorching sun, dry air, lack of water and food. This place has spawned many monsters. Skimmer, Garu, Bone Dog, and people. Sometimes it would be better to encounter a wild beast than a human. Animals killed quickly for sustenance. But people killed for fun. A disgusting place. Many avoided the great desert, but not our hero. He knew this place inside and out, and nothing could knock him off course. Neither sandstorm nor pitch-black night. The skeleton monotonously walked towards its goal, only occasionally speeding up its pace. What was on the mind of this soulless machine? What was that on the horizon? A wall appeared before the skeleton, and then the outlines of buildings and wind turbines began to emerge. The robot had reached its destination, a city called Stoat. Although calling this place a city was difficult, it looked more like a well-fortified transfer base. And as if in confirmation of this, the skeleton saw a common sight for this place. Guards guarding the gates were fighting several skimmers. For inexperienced people, an encounter with such a monster is a guaranteed death. The local warriors dealt with these creatures every day, delivering quick and accurate blows, leaving them no chance. After a couple of minutes of battle, the corpses of the scavengers lay in a puddle of their own greenish blood, a common sight in these places. Dawn was breaking over the sandy city. Stoat was gradually coming to life. People poured out into the street and went about their business. The skeleton passed through the city gates just as the shops and stores began to open. That was his calculation. First, the robot went about his business. He did not need rest, but living organisms. That's a different matter. Weak and fragile. Even the most enduring of them needed rest and sleep. Such non-stop transitions were very difficult for the bull. But due to its loyalty to its master, it had been moving forward all this time. The skeleton appreciated this and therefore bargained for a sleeping bag for his bull from the local manager. Although the manager was not very happy, mumbling something like, "The beast can sleep on the ground," or, "You'll just dirty the fabric with shit." All questions were resolved with a few hundred cats. As soon as the money was in the official's hands, his intonation and rhetoric changed. He even volunteered to feed and water the animal, while the robot was busy with his affairs in the city. And the skeleton had a difficult task ahead of him in this city. He was to meet with an old friend, a very old friend. Shall we keep playing staring contests? You know why I'm here. I know. So it's time to begin. Yes. Many years have passed since we last saw each other, RH01. I've taken a simpler human name, Reinhardt. But you're right. It's been several centuries, Semi-Automatic Land Operator 42. And I've also shortened my name to the simple abbreviation Salo. There's no point in straining human brains with extra information, and when they hear my new name, they become more open to me, more vulnerable. Are you ready to go? I'm ready, but I have some news for you. I saw Hex in this city. Hex? Yes. I think such a skilled engineer would be useful to us, and he fights pretty well, even though he's not tall. I'd like to see you blow up on an anti-personnel grenade. And he managed not only to survive but also to patch himself up from spare parts that were at hand. That's just how it is. With those different legs, he even managed to repair our guys and equipment. Remember how he put a turret back on a tank? It looked so funny. A tiny little guy with different legs holding a tank turret. We'll reminisce later. So where is Hex now? Not far from the city gates. Come on, I'll take you to him. I see you're still up to the same old thing, taking apart old junk and trying to find something valuable. Yes, Your Majesty. Don't call me that around people. How are you doing, Hex? Same as it was 400 years ago. I'm working as a prospector, taking apart old machines. I understand. I have a job for you, Hex. As I understand it, the time has come. If this club is standing next to you, yes, the time has come, and I need your help. As you command, As you say, Reinhardt. What changed in the city of Stoat after our hero arrived? Absolutely nothing. The city dwellers went about their business. Caravans of merchants and slave traders came and went from the city. The guards protected both from the raids of bloodthirsty creatures and all sorts of bandits. And the sun seemed to try to burn this place to the ground. Salo asked Hex to swap equipment so he could move freely around the city using the latter's reputation. You're much bigger than me, you lout, and the model is completely different. Do you think people will look into it? We're all the same to them. Salo, you're a stupid soldier. Oh well, here, take the clothes. Just don't tear them. If anything breaks or gets damaged, all questions are for Reinhardt. He's our boss. Let him worry about our supplies. We'll need a huge amount of resources for our business anyway. You'll have resources and equipment, but first we need to check something. How do organisms survive in this desert? They're much tougher than they look. As you say, I'm not a big expert on them. So what do you think? Is the core still here? Maybe. I never liked that thing. I remember when it crashed, the dust stood for several weeks, and the radiation was so. Many organisms died, and many of them survived. Yeah, right. The crown of creation. They figured out how to evaporate most of the water on the planet to destroy their enemies. They were never very bright. Listen, Salo, while Reinhardt is analyzing, tell me honestly, you asked for my equipment just to take it away. Yeah, and your habits haven't changed at all in centuries. So, I'm done. The core, judging by the destruction, is in some kind of fragment, and they scattered it all over the continent. Don't tell me we're going to look for it. We will. And not just look, but also dig. A lot of digging. Over several centuries, it has gone underground. Oh, as you say, you're in charge here. We're back. The guard captain at the gate asked us to stop banging on this piece of metal, at least until morning. We're disturbing their rest and sleep with our noise. We're almost done for today. There's no core here. Let's collect these fragments and sell them in the morning at the store. What are these skeletons up to? How many weeks have they been lurking around the city? Captain, maybe we should deal with them? Leave them alone. They're just collecting metal. But why? Why would irons collect iron? Hehehe. Shut up, comedian. Yes, Captain. They collect it and sell it. But why do they need cats? They don't need to eat, drink, or sleep. Who knows? They say they have a draft bull. Maybe they're collecting it for food. Those creatures are voracious. Like you? Hehehe. Shut up. Yes, Captain. The merchant paid taxes 5 times more than usual as soon as he started working with the skeletons. Damn it! How much did they earn? Who knows? But I think the sum is not small. Maybe we should take them out? Huh, maybe, when ordered. Another raid was completed. The squad was returning to Stoat. The skeletons, passing through the city gates, were called out by a guard. A messenger is waiting for you. A skeleton just like you. I sent him under the tents. Did he say or ask anything? He only asked how to find you. Okay, thank you. You can't buy sake with thanks. Here, hold 300 cats. It's a pleasure doing business with you, gentlemen skeletons. As the guard said, there was a skeleton standing near the tents. He was looking at the fire, and thinking about his own. You were looking for us? Yes, you're Reinhardt. Banshee and Ace sent me. I'm Lamb. I haven't heard those names in a long time. They just found out that you've awakened. They have information on the core. Good. And where are they themselves? They are waiting for you in the city of Heft. Then we're leaving immediately. Time waits for no one. The squad gathered their things and set off. The tireless skeletons marched forward monotonously. The entire journey to Heft took 3 days without stopping. By the evening of the 3rd day, the city gates were already visible. It was also decided to wait until evening so as not to attract attention. The squad entered the city well after midnight, and a strong sandstorm played into their hands, further concealing the skeletons from prying eyes. It was rare for ordinary citizens to see a skeleton, and so, for a squad to come to the city, this was an unheard of event. Lam led his companions to the north gate of the city, next to which was a bar tavern. Entering the room and climbing to the 2nd floor, the squad found 2 skeletons sitting at a table. It was them, 2 old skeletons, 2 old friends, Banshee and Ace. Greetings to you, your majesty. Let's start by greeting you once again and expressing our respect. No need for such formalities. Let's get straight to the point. Unfortunately, it won't work that way. We're currently in a bustling city. There are many outsiders here, as people say. Even walls have airs. Alright, what do you suggest? We suggest a walk outside the city gates. Shall we set off immediately? Don't rush so much. Knowing Hex, I think it's worth looking in on our local brother and checking out his special goods. He has a workshop store in the city. And what's his name? The locals just call him Doc or Robodoc. You've piqued my interest. I think I'll go to him right now. His shop is opposite the bar, near the police station. Alright. I hope you're open. Open. What brings you here? Banshee sent me to you. Ah, Hex. Long time no see. Sorry. I've reset my settings a few times. My memory's not what it used to be. It's alright. You've set up a pretty good base for yourself, Doc. It's not my old workshop, of course, but it's not bad. I have the bare minimum here to work and create. Hee hee. Look what I have for you. What is that? Power armor. Quiet down. You'll wake the whole city. Where did you get it? I didn't get it, I assembled it. Myself. With my own hands. True, it's without a power source. I couldn't find the core. And creating such things on this equipment is impossible. And the alloy isn't quite the same as before. I don't care. I haven't been in armor like this for thousands of years. You're a master. Well, I can't just give it to you, but I could sell it. Don't worry about the price. Reinhard will pay. As soon as Hex returns, we'll go. And here he is. Reinhard, I just need 50,000 cats. We don't have that kind of money for your armor right now. How did you know I wanted to buy armor? The whole city knows thanks to your yelling. Oh, I feel like a kid asking their parents for a new toy. If you think about it, Reinhard is practically your father. He's much older than you. Much older. Yeah. Maybe we should go for a walk now. We can discuss everything then? We can leave. Just settle up with the bartender for the night. The squad gathered their belongings, bought supplies from the newly opened shops, and left the city through the south gate. The desert journey stretched over several days. Banshee and Ace led the squad to an abandoned village, hidden on all sides by sand dunes. The skeletons weren't affected by fatigue, but the bull had a difficult time. Luckily for the latter, there were several fields of cacti in the village that he could munch on, which is exactly what he did. The skeletons retired to one of the houses for a discussion. Salo, what are you doing there? I'll keep an eye on the bull. I don't like the local fauna. I wouldn't want something to attack our organism. I see you've grown attached to him. Shut up. Start telling us what you managed to find out or find there. To be brief, we found the core you're looking for. Or rather, Ace found it. I had to mess around with it a bit, but the guy told me everything. He even shared some of his clothes with me. Now it's clear why you're wearing the robe of a saint from the holy nation. I almost thought you'd become religious. I'll hit you. Peace. Anyway, the core is with the holy nation. Are you serious? Serious. And it's been there for a very long time. Since the time of the first Phoenix. Those fanatics. Fanatics or not, the fact remains. And they guard it very well. Remember their stories and their emblem? Now I understand where they got it from. So there you have it, our core. In the jaws of the Leviathan. As you understand, no one is going to voluntarily give us the core. These fanatics don't even know what it's for. They don't know what it's from. They don't know why they keep it. For them, it's a relic of the past. With the forces we have now, it's impossible to get it. The chances are less than 1 in 1,000. So what do you suggest? I suggest going underground, preparing, gathering warriors and taking the core from the saints. I agree with this proposal. Now that Doc has shown me that it's possible to create power armor, even if it's of poor quality, we all need it, especially for our future endeavors. As an engineer, I even insist on it. Who knows what else we might encounter while we're preparing. It would be nice to find old blueprints. It would only increase our chances. Salo, what do you think? I think give me a squad of 20 fighters under my command. Set a task, and we'll complete it. Soldier boy. Who's talking? And where will we find warriors? Where can we hide from prying eyes? Where won't we be pursued? The Deadlands? The Deadlands. Yes, the Deadlands. But before we leave, I wanted to say something. Reinhard, give me money for power armor. It's been ages since I've been to the Deadlands. I haven't been there in 400 years either. Hey, what about the bull? Everything there is toxic to organisms. Don't worry, he doesn't care. He's immune to the radiation, toxic fallout, and contaminated soil and air. Wow, nature has really toughened them up over thousands of years. Back then, they used to die off in droves from radiation. There's not as much biodiversity now, but they've adapted to survive on the edge. Like those rippers, they used to be water creatures. So where are we in such a hurry? Ask Hex. He won't hear you. I haven't seen him this happy in ages. A happy idiot. No wonder. They bought him a toy. He's as happy as a kid. I wouldn't mind replacing my armor either. It's worn out and rusty. I look like a tin can. I don't even have armor. I go around, well, naked. You'll get armor. As soon as we settle in, shake Hex down. Make him try to make a copy of his armor. And there are the wastelands on the horizon. Is this where the story begins? Thank you for watching the first part of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. I would be grateful for your subscription and support. You can also purchase an in-game character with your name. This option will be available to all paid monthly subscribers after reaching 500 subscribers on the channel.